I always feel like somebody's watching me. Great pitch. And they forgot to wear deodorant. Have you ever gotten the feeling that someone was watching you? Well, this guy was followed by a skunk. You're all about it in The Skunk by Mac Burnett. When I left my house this morning, there was a skunk on my doorstep. I moved very carefully, as I did not want to startle the skunk. But the skunk did not seem scared. I backed down the steps slowly and carefully and started on my way to work. The skunk, he started right after me. For a few blocks, I thought it was funny that a skunk and I could be going in the same direction. But after a mile, I realized I was being followed. Whenever I sped up, the skunk sped. Whenever I slowed, the skunk did as well. I took many wild turns, and so did the skunk. After a while, I turned to the skunk and asked, "What do you want?" The skunk did not answer, for the skunk was a skunk. I offered him an apple. I gave him some milk. I offered him my pocket watch in hopes of a remark. The skunk, he did not want any of these things. This is ridiculous. I was wasting my time. I hailed a taxi and sped off down the avenue. The skunk, he boarded the cab after mine. Outside the opera house, I hid behind a shrub. Success! The skunk did not see me hiding there. I bounded up the steps and took my seat at the opera. I was relieved to find myself between a gray old officer and an old lady. But of course, skunks can't buy tickets to the opera. The curtain rose for the first solo, and the skunk trotted down the aisle. He climbed up the lady's gown and took a seat on her head. "Excuse me, madam, but there seems to be a skunk on your—" "Hush! This is my favorite part. So sad, so strange." I had to get out of here. I rushed out the fire exit and hurried across the city, through the sculpture garden, through the cemetery. I bought a ticket for the Ferris wheel. I boarded it. The skunk, he boarded the car after mine. I'll admit, I began to panic. We rode around in great circles. He was not getting any closer, but neither was he getting any farther away. I got off the Ferris wheel. He pursued me across the city. He came closer and closer. I went down the alley. It was a dead end. Backed me in the corner. I looked at the skunk and shouted, "Stop, please!" The skunk, he did not stop. I lifted up the manhole and jumped down into the sewers. I ran as fast as I could. I paused to catch my breath, but never for long. I had to go on. When I came up, I was in a different part of the city. I bought a new house, and I bought new things. I opened the door on the first night, and guess who was waiting there for me? Nobody. I threw a party. We popped the champagne. I cooked a large dinner. People bought me gifts, and after a while, I began to think about my skunk. What was he doing? Was he waiting for me? Was he hiding in his burrow? Was he following someone else? I left the party to find my skunk. He was not in the carnival. He was not in the alley. He was not beneath the city. I could not find him anywhere. There. There's the skunk. I trailed behind the sidewalk, careful to remain hidden. I will keep a close eye on the skunk to make sure he never follows me again.